I would say the very first person that scammed me when I first got into fitness was definitely. But in this video, what we're going to do is talk about some of the fitness YouTubers that have scammed me in the past, because one, I think it's super highly relatable. That I feel like a lot of you guys be like, shit, that is happening to me now. There was so many influencers at the time when I first started getting into training that would super promote supplements to the point where you did think it was magic. Like, I remember going to buy protein shakes and creatine without actually knowing what it did. I just knew that some big hench dude on the internet that I watched a video of that I liked would always say, yeah, you can go have that gains, and he would point me to the store. And back then as well, whey proteins weren't as great as they are now. They didn't taste good, the mixability was horrible, so when you put them in the cup, you just see chunks of it. It was disgusting. But yeah, people that used to overly push supplement, make it seem like this is the reason why they built their muscle, when in reality it is mainly your diet and your training, and those things can be beneficial, but they're not essential. Like, I work with a supplement company, but I never over promote their shit. You know what I mean? I just don't like doing that. I do believe some of their supplements are really good, but I don't like making it seem like that is the reason why I'm seeing results. So people that do that are absolute douches. The next one now, I would say the very first person that scammed me when I first got into fitness was definitely Mike Chang. Around the 2011s, when I first started getting into wanting to get in shape, and I went on YouTube because it was video resources. Mike Chang, if you guys don't know him, was basically the original V-Shred. Like, you think V-Shred's bad, like Mike Chang was terrible. Like, do a quick little Google search. He's not on YouTube anymore because he sold his channel after he got like loads of millions. His whole thing used to be called Six Pack Shortcuts. So straight away, that title, you know it's going to bring in a lot of people that just want fast results. And he used to just talk absolute crap. He used to talk about his special workout routines that would allow you to lose fat in days after you've worked out. The funny thing about Mike Chang is, to be honest, himself, he wasn't even in that massive good shape. Like, he had muscle, but he wasn't really ever shredded. Like, I don't think I ever saw him probably below 15% body fat. But the way he did his marketing, the way the titles were snappy, that shit got me. As a young person or a newbie trying to get into training, when you see those stupid titles that say how to lose fat in 2 weeks, you kind of gravitate towards them. So that's why when people are looking for these things, I try and be brutally honest with them, because I've been there. I've been that idiot clicking on it and trying to do these workouts for months upon months and see no results. In regards to Mike Chang though, the reason why he scammed me so many times was, one, the information he was giving out was a complete shit. But the biggest thing that really kind of hurt me the most is, on 2 occasions, he tricked me into watching a 40 to 45 minute video talking about the afterburn effect that only he knows how to make it happen, talking around the topic, and at the very end of it, he would go, oh, say, join my mailing list to get these super secret plans, buy all his crap. And because the first time he caught me slipping, the second time, that's when I said enough's enough. I'm done with this Mike Chang dude. He tricked me into thinking that it was achievable. There is no shortcut to get abs if you didn't know that. The real and true way is to actually get in a calorie deficit and train. At the time, I just wanted the fast results. I was bullshitting myself. In reality, we all know when something sounds too good to be true, but those videos, you go for the clickbait and the thumbnails, and unfortunately, that's how a lot of like people make their money, by attacking the naive and the desperate, and that's how they get rich. The next one I'm going to somewhat kind of cover quickly because I've kind of spoke about it in a video before, but people are like fake naturals, because they used to kind of say that they could do X, Y, Z and still attain the physique they had. So I'd watch them try and follow their full day routines to the absolute T, and I would kind of follow everything they did trying to gain a physique like them, and I didn't really see much progress. And then I find out, like, from inner circles when I met people through, you know, the fitness industry, and they would say, oh, you do know X, Y, Z uses blah blah blah. I'm not saying names on purpose because some of these people, I haven't seen them stick the injection in their ass cheeks, so I can't 100% say, oh, I know XYZ's on this, but I've heard whispers, and whispers isn't enough for me to say people's names. But yeah, and I hear like they've used that to maintain their leaner physique throughout all these years. They're not trying to get big, they're just trying to stay aesthetic, and it made me kind of think twice about their advice, if you know what I'm saying. Like, the advice they give could still be great, but I wouldn't then follow their routine to the T, which in honesty, even with someone that's natural, you shouldn't 100% follow their routine, because their routine is catered for their life and their kind of schedule. You're a bit different. You can pick and choose bits, right, and kind of mold your own sort of routine that kind of suits your schedule and your life. So I always advise that anyway. In regards to now money, I can honestly say that in terms of supplements and stuff like that, I don't think any fitness YouTuber has managed to con me out of money on a supplement. I don't think, like as in directly to them. They've tricked me into going to stores and buying it, but they've never actually made me give them the money. But I will say in regards to clothing now, that was a scam. Some people were promoting fitness clothing that was just pieces of shit, and I'd go, oh, that kind of looks kind of cool. I like that person too, and I'd buy it and I'd be like, that wasn't the best. You know, I'll give you a prime example, which isn't the same today, but when they started, Alphalete, right? When Christian Guzman first was doing it, I remember seeing some of the stuff and it looked really, really dope. So I ended up buying, I think, about 3 items. One of them specifically was just really shit. It was just really bad quality. It felt coarse on my skin. It didn't really feel good. It didn't really look as good as it did when Christian Guzman was wearing it in his videos. And I just didn't like it. And I felt like I was almost robbed from the money, to be honest. But since then, I've bought other pieces from them and they are pretty good. I would say the ones I would always stick with is the household goods. You know what I mean? The elastane type of tanks and stringers and t-shirts will probably always be your best bet. Now, taking this all the way back to actually talking about fitness specifically, how did it actually fool me into actually doing this stuff? The main thing was because I was young, dumb and impressionable. At the end of the day, I wanted those super fast results that a lot of you asked me. Like you'll DM me like, TJ, I want to get super hench for the next 4 weeks because school starts. And I'm there thinking, you're bony as hell. That's not happening. Even with steroids, you're not getting super hench in 4 weeks. It's just not happening. And unfortunately, when you say it to someone, what they'll do is, in many of the cases I've found, they will just like close down the chat and just go find some other influencer that will tell them it can happen. And then even when it doesn't happen, they'll just find another YouTuber and go, oh, that one obviously was shit. I'll find another shortcut guy that will actually tell me the real way how to get that super shreds in like 4 weeks. I can tell you right now, it's not happening. In regards to fitness, unless you're going to use some illegal substances and potentially endanger your health, there is no super fast way to get super shredded or super big in ridiculous short time frames. You have to be realistic and have common sense. If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If it quacks like a duck, moves like a duck, I don't know, the duck fly like a duck, it's a fucking duck. You know what I mean? So don't be a ducking idiot. And a big gateway to get to this poor information that these people kind of pitched you with these 2-week gains, it was the snappy titles on YouTube. And unfortunately, those snappy titles are always going to be the things that draw people in. Headlines and magazines are the same thing. They'll talk about how to pack on crazy amounts of muscle. 2 drastically different pictures of body fat, and they'll say 1 week difference. And they'll actually try and tell you like drink lemon water, apple cider vinegar, and all this other stuff like, was it what Dr. Oz said? Bone broth, which is disgusting. So I'm saying all this to say, if you really want to see results and avoid being scammed by these idiots, you really have to be realistic and just realize you can't do all this bullshit in a short amount of time. I know it doesn't sound sexy when you say to someone, oh, I want to get shredded for XYZ, and they go, okay, it's probably going to take us a good solid 3 to 6 months for you to get to here, and probably another 12 months to get to here. It doesn't sound as good as someone that can tell you they can do that in 2 weeks. I'll allow you to get scammed once or twice, right? But once it gets past months upon months and you keep searching for these shortcuts and this stupidity, you have to realize that the onus is now on you. You are choosing to be duped. In 2020, there's a lot more information out there. There's so much information where you can find the real stuff. But if you choose to ignore it and try and seek out the BS in the fitness industry, that's somewhat your fault. I know sometimes the big names will kind of draw you in and you'll believe them wholeheartedly. But just remember, these big names are getting big checks. So for that reason, it could always somewhat bias them. Which is why I would sometimes advise like trying to find smaller influencers or just read an actual book or a real scientific study and try and look at it. But don't get to the point where all these scientific studies cripple you and you do nothing. Because I've had people message me talking about they want to start training in 2 months time, giving me reels upon reels of information from scientists and all this and stuff. And I'm like, that is all great, learn your knowledge, but why are you waiting to train? Train now and improve as time goes on. You don't need to be a perfectionist or be perfect when you start. You just need to take action, be safe, move accordingly, and try and have realistic goals. Anyways, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was super random. I was doing my cardio this morning, and I saw one of those V-Shred adverts pop up, and I kept thinking, who falls for this shit? Then I realized I fell for it with Mike Chang. Everyone's somewhat impressionable or naive at some point. It's a case of trying to pull them out of the matrix and get them onto the right path. Anyways, people, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoy or like my new canvases. Look at this. This is the exact reason why I trained, to try and be better than Goku. Anyways, people, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. And deuces, people. I'm gone.